Mr. Rodrigue. Mr. Arabi. Ms. Chairman Otan.
Here.
Mrs. Chasson. Mr. Lorraine. President Chasson. Mrs. Chasson. Mr. Lorraine. President Chasson.
Okay, while they work through that, if everyone would please rise, we'll be led in invocation by Councilman Lorraine, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Brumfield. Invocation by Councilman Lorraine, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Brumfield.
Good Lord's Prayer. All Father,
Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mention the laws of Rachel's husband. I don't know the details. I don't want to say that. Okay, well. Just keep the family in prayers. I mean, you could say it. What's it? Just so y'all certain. I don't have any facts. Do we have the reverb stop? It's cut out. Okay, I've been asked to mention our council clerk Rachel's husband just recently passed away. I'm being told that as we speak, so please ask everyone to please keep him in, keep her and their family in their prayers.
Thank you.
All right, so y'all were catching up some technical difficulties. Apparently our server's down, so this brand new system we just installed is not operating. So we're gonna try to go back to the way we were doing things always. So when y'all want to be recognized, please press your button. The red light will come on and your mic will be active. I won't have to activate it. You'll already be live. So if it's on and you talk, it's going to actually be across the speaker like it used to be. With that said, moving to item A, approval of minutes. I now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the May 14, 2024 regular session. So moved by Councilman Melvin, second by Councilman Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item B, state and or federal legislative updates. I got a large legislative update by State Representative Fontenot, who had graciously attended the Chiefs meeting. So there's a lot of information going on. So I'd ask everyone to please pay attention to what's going on at the state level right now. Item C, we have none. Item D, proclamations. So there are none noted on this agenda. Do we have any? None. Okay, just making sure. Item E, presentations or updates. None. F, legal advisor report. None. Item G, engineers and or architect reports.
I saw that coming up. Where's the agenda?
Joseph Piciola with Piciola and Associates.
Is the mic on? Yeah, so, yeah, we have to go back old school again. Rachel was able to...
Hello?
Got it.
All right. Joe Piciola with Piciola and Associates, 115 Piciola Parkway in Cutoff. So our first project is the Airport Connector Road and Bridge. This is a vertical lift span bridge and connector roadway connecting the Lafourche Airport with Highway 3235. It's a joint project between the GLPC, Lafourche Parish Government, DOTD, FHWA. The contract is sea-level construction. You can see that they've finished pouring the columns and the bridge machinery decks on the bridge main structure. They've been pouring the approach slabs on the LA1 and the LA308 side. They're currently working on the machinery off-site also, which you don't see. The machinery is going to go mostly on the bridge machinery decks at the top. They did the asphalt roadway work on between 3235 and LA1, and all the drainage work is done. They are making decent progress now. Their scheduled completion date right now is December of this year. Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to pump stations. The Rita pump station project includes 2 new 30-inch pipes and a rebuild of the whole pump station. We've completed We've completed all of our site surveying, all of our soil borings and preliminary drawings, and we have applied for a permit. I expect, we came off a public notice with the state, and I expect we're going to get a state permit fairly soon, then we'll start dealing with the Corps. All right, road priority list 2022. This is asphalt roadway work and drainage in Council District 7, 8, 9. Byron Talbot's the contractor. So they've been working on drainage work and sub-base work. They completed all the sub-base work this week. They plan on jumping back and fine grading and compacting the sub-base and then putting like a seal coat on it. They also were working today on putting riprap at the Go-to-Meta boat launch. The asphalt work is scheduled to begin on or about June the 10th. And then within a couple of weeks after that, it'll be complete. This ain't working. Oh, there we go. So Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the Leeville boat launch. That project is complete. Lowland Construction was the contractor. We're still finalizing the final paperwork, but it has been open to the public for the last couple of weeks. The next project is Sugar Ridge Pump Station. This includes 2 new 30-inch pumps with diesel drives and complete rebuild of the pump station. We've completed the site surveying on this project, the soil borings, and the plans are 95% complete. We've submitted them to state CPRA for review, and they've given us some comments that we've responded to. We're still reviewing it with the administration. As soon as that's complete, we're going to go out for bids. One more. All right, the next one is the LaRose public boat launch. This project includes upgrades to the boat ramp, the wharves, riprap revetment along the bank line. This is a Wallop grant. We got $400,000 or $200,000 from the state. We've completed all the site surveying, preliminary drawings, and we've completed all the geotechnical work. We have applied for a permit, which was out on public notice. It's coming off a public notice now. And I expect to have a state permit within the next month. Any questions?
Any questions? There being none, much appreciated.
Thank you.
Are we good, Mr. Administrator? We good? All right. Any other engineers and or architect reports? Brings us to item H, public wishing to address the council, public hearings, agenda items, etc. Ms. Carleen.
Mr. Torrance Hampton Sr., if you come to the podium, Mr. Torrance, state your name and address for the record. Please remember you have 3 minutes.
Hello. Good evening. Torrance Hampton Sr., 146 Leonard Street, Raceland. First, I have like to find out updates for the racing area for the next 6 months. Will we have any plans for any addressing some of the issues we have?
Racing area updates. What else you have, Mr. Terrence?
Yes, updates for the rec centers. When is it have time when the kids going to actually have opportunity to come back this year to play in the gym? Or FEMA going to hold the contract for another couple months or whatever? How are we going to go about doing that?
All right.
Also, we have updates on the speed bumps and removal of some speed bumps on St. Louis and St. Philip Street. 4, wired power lines are still hanging and down on the ground on what is St. Louis Street, and it's never been addressed and it's still ongoing.
All right. So does anyone have any updates on racing area in terms of recreation or otherwise? Mr. President?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I'll say is I know the Race and Rec Board is the one who's negotiating the contracts with FEMA now, Pete, so I'm pretty sure they're going to, I don't know how much longer they're going to be there.
Yeah.
I think it's through the end of the year, but I don't remember the last amendment we approved was probably 3, 4, 5 months ago for another few months. So they're going to be there for a little bit.
So basically, like this year is going to be a cancellation for them again, right? Okay.
And any updates, I guess, Dylan, on speed bump installation removal, or can anyone from the administration provide any feedback on that? Do you have any updates?
So no, not really. I don't know anything about any removals. I mean, Dylan and I would have to talk about that, but the speed hump installations are upcoming.
They're in the works, right around the corner. And the last one he had was about electrical lines.
Yes.
Which, I don't know if anyone knows, they're probably cable lines that he's talking about, because we still have quite a few of those, even though I know they did a big project. Does anyone have any complaints or is aware of this? I mean, if it's electrical, then that's an immediate, they'll be there the same day, because I called one for last week, so I know.
Yeah.
Anyone?
I'll just
Dylan.
say some of those addresses that we were given when Mr. Barrera came here, we rolled that with Energy. It wasn't part of that C2C line. It was an existing communication line that was damaged. So that falls directly on the responsibility of that communication company. I can meet with you or get a contact from you, Pete, and call you on that.
That's fine.
That way we can look at the specific areas that you're looking at, and we can just try to coordinate with the owner of the line to get it settled.
Yeah, if it's electrical, they're going to address, Energy will get it addressed quick. If it's cable, it becomes a little complicated, but it can still be addressed. Go ahead, Pete.
I'm sorry. Also, just want to say one thing. I appreciate everything you're doing, Dylan, on the project we had talked about last time. And to get back to the cable lines, it's not cable, it actually is power lines. It's been like that since Ida, and it's still ongoing. So we just kind of got to address the issue. Because the kids does pass by back and forth, and and safety, you always think about it.
Definitely.
You know, always remember one thing, it's still alive. It might be dead, but always think it is alive. So that's one of the issues I wanted to take care of. It's on Highway 1, so just from bridge to bridge. That's all they have to do, and the lines are still hanging down, and it's unacceptable.
Gotcha. Like I said, for me personally, this past week, I had a line that was low in the back of somebody's yard, and I called Energy, and they had 3 trucks there in about an hour and a half because they considered it an emergency. So I don't know if anyone's called Energy or not. Maybe that's the problem.
I did twice.
And no response?
No.
So we just need to follow up, I guess with Paula, that would be on the resident side. Okay, we'll follow up on that with you, Pete.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
partner.
Only one, just a minute.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carleen. That being the end of item H, brings us to item I, public hearing and ordinances for ratification. I entertain a motion to open public hearing, so moved by Mr. Perk, second by Mr. Lorraine. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 2, ordinance establishing, Mr. Perk is going to pull item 2. So item 2 has been pulled. That brings us to item 3. Ordinance approving a purchase agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Landglow LLC to purchase a property located at 118 Cliff Lane, Golden Meadow, Louisiana, in the total amount of $301,000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer an agreement and any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, and second by Mr. Araby. We have an amendment, item A, amendment, correcting the purchase price from $301,000 to $295,000 throughout the ordinance. This will be proposed by Mr. Lorraine for administration and seconded by Mr. Araby again. So with that said, would anyone from the public like to comment on the amendment? This is only of the amendment, moving the purchase price from $301 to $295. Other than the owner, there shouldn't be anybody. Second call, any public input on the amendment? Last and final call, any discussion or any public input on the amendment? Anyone from the council wants to discuss the amendment? Mr. Lorraine, you have the floor,
Yeah,
sir.
I just want to let you all know that the library board approved this also. And I'd like to thank the Colley family for reducing the price by $6,000.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. Any further discussion? So now we are only voting on the amendment to change the price. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Now we will move to the ordinance as amended. Would anyone from the public like to comment on this ordinance, number 3, as amended? Second call, public input, ordinance as amended. Third and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance as amended? Would anyone from the council like to discuss ordinance as amended? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 4, ordinance providing for a 2024 supplemental appropriation 24-005 within the 2024 operations and maintenance budget and capital outlay budget, increasing the budget for the West 11th Street Drainage Project 22035 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said transactions as provided for by Article 6 of the Lafourche Parish Home Rule Charter. Ms. Chesson for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Would anyone from the public like to comment on number 4? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 4. Last and final call, public input, number 4. Anyone from the council like to discuss? Mr. Araby.
I'd just like to question the administration on this project right here. Is this going to be a one-time deal for this ditch here where we're having a little issue where we got to put covers down? Or down the road, we're going to have some more issue with this ditch and we're going to have to be buying some more covers to put in it?
Sounds like the question is this a temporary fix or a permanent fix? Anyone from the administration?
I certainly hope it's a one-time fix. This was unforeseen. There's an old slough that passes through the area. We did experience like a 5 or 6 inch rainfall the day that it was dug, and we just can't seem to get grass to root and it to stop sloughing off. So we are going to install a culvert, and hopefully that remedies the situation. We are not experiencing this anywhere along the ditch at this time. This is the only location that we're experiencing it.
Thank you, Dylan.
Well, that's the reason why I'm questioning, because I know it's a pretty good sized ditch that y'all dug. Probably deeper than what we probably needed to dig it for. But anyway, if we're going to buy covers right now and down the road we got some more problems, we're going to be spending a lot more money if we got to cover the whole doggone ditch. And we all got ditches like that. You know, I have some right here in the middle of Racing and Blanchard Canal. I spoke to you about it already, that we got some issues already. So I was just wondering, you know, where we're going to, how far we're going to go with it. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully this is it. And look, the ditch was dug to existing inverts. We actually dug only 3 inches lower than the existing culverts that were there, so it wasn't overdug by any means. It just had been it hasn't been maintained in quite a long time. So we had existing survey, finding existing pipes, and like I said, the lowest pipe, we only went 3 inches below it. So it wasn't overdug. It's just an issue with the stability of the slopes in that area.
Thank you, Dylan. Any further discussion on the item ordinance at number 4 by the council? Bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent. That absent be Councilman Adams. Item 5, ordinance approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and River Birch Renewable Energy LLC and enter into intergovernmental agreements with the town of Lockport and the town of Golden Meadow relative to parish-wide garbage and trash collection, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreements and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 5? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 5. Last and final call for the ordinance at number 5 from the public. Anyone from the council? I have a few questions if you want to grab the gavel, Mr. Vice Chairman. Absolutely. Excuse me, press your button. All right. So anyway, so as y'all know, I had a lot of questions. This is a really big agreement, and this is the 10-year agreement as we go to River Birch for service. And a lot of my questions related to opt-outs and making sure that we were covered. I know this is pretty close to the previous agreement. I do thank the district attorney's office for answering some of my questions, and as well as some of my fellow council members. They kind of had some answers on some of the questions I had, as well as the parish administrator, so I do thank you. And once again, my concern is, this is, you know, as one of my fellow council members stated, you know, biggest complaints we get are drainage and garbage. And so I just want to make sure 10 years going that we have enough opt-outs. And to make it clear, my understanding is that if there's, you know, if River Birch is not performing to the best of their duties, they have a time frame to get it corrected, and then we have the ability to opt out if they don't. Is that correct, Mr. President? That's how I understand it. Okay. And as far as you know, cost increases that are going to happen, I forget whatever that index is. That's kind of, everybody's on the hook with that, right? So I don't see that that's going to be an issue. However, there are other extenuating circumstances of increases. My understanding in this contract is that it has to be pre-approved by the council outside of the normal index. That's correct. Okay. So the only other thing, you know, is because once again, I think we were all shocked a couple of weeks ago when we reiterated or re-talked about, or disappointed about the incident on St. Joseph Street where one of our residents had their meter pulled out their house, and River Birch said, it's not our responsibility, it should be energy. And that poor person, that elderly man, still to this day hasn't been made whole. Matter of fact, my understanding is now in litigation, so I don't really want to talk about it much, but I think it's very unfortunate. I think it was a poor business decision. I wish that had been corrected, taken care of by somebody really quick. It shouldn't have stretched out. But I would certainly hope that going forward in the future that our citizens are not subjected to similar type instances, if you will. So I think we'll all be paying attention to that, and because it was a disappointment, I think, on many of our ports, as we discussed. Mr. Araby, that's all I had, so I'll take the gavel back. Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Mr. Araby.
So this is the pickups contract we're doing for and is that a 10-year or 5-year? 5.
This one's 5.
Okay. I
The other
thought
one's 10. The tip is 10.
He mentioned 10, so that's why I'm saying this is a 5-year contract. The disposal contract is a 10-year contract.
Thanks to everybody who had input. Is there any further discussion from the council? There being none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Brings us to item 6, ordinance approving agreement with River Birch LLC for disposal services and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 6? Second call, public input, ordinance at 6. Last and final call. Anyone from the public wants to comment on number 6? There be none. Anyone from the council? Bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 7, ordinance approving a servitude agreement between Michael J. Straney and Jennifer Orso Straney in Lafourche Parish government in the Thibodeau area, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. My understanding, make sure I'm correct, Mr. Araby is going to sponsor on behalf of the administration. Is that correct? And Mr. Lorraine, you second it? Which brings us to public input, ordinance at number 7. Second call, public input, ordinance at number 7. Last and final call, public input, ordinance at number 7. Anyone from the council would like to discuss this one? There be none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? So motion passes with 7 yeas, 0 nays, 1 abstention, that abstention being Councilman Melvin, and 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Adams. Good?
That's good.
All right. Item 8, ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6747 that approves Civic Source to publicly advertise and auction the adjudicated property located on East 96th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, of assessment number 0102308010 due to non-payment of ad valorem property tax, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 8? Second call, anyone from the public wants to comment on ordinance at number 8? Third and final call, anyone wants to comment on the ordinance at number 8? Anyone from the council? There be none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, the absence being Councilman Adams. Item 9, ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6750 that approved a non-warranty cash sale agreement for property adjudicated to Lafourche Parish government located on East 96th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 0102308010 for a minimum amount of $4,000, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 9? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 9. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on ordinance number 9? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Adams. Item 10, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction the adjudicated property located on East 96th Street, Cutoff, Louisiana, 70345, assessment number 0102308010, with a minimum starting bid of $14,597.47, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 10? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 10. Third and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on ordinance at 10? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 11, ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6784 that approves Civic Source to public advertise and auction the educated property located at 107 Myrtle DeLone Street, Lockport, Louisiana 70374. Assessment number 00414498836 due to non-payment of ad valorem property tax and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration. Would anyone from the public like, and second by Mr. Lorraine. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 11? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 11. Third and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on this ordinance? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 12, ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6823 that approved a non-warranty cash sale agreement for property adjudicated to Lafourche Parish government located at 107 Myrtle DeLone Street, Lockport, Louisiana 70374. Assessment number 00414498836 for a minimum starting bid of $5,620. Authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Moved by Ms. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 12? I'm sorry. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
There's so many Myrtle DeLones on here. Just 3 times. Anyone from the public like to comment on ordinance at number 12? Second call for input, number 12. Last and final call. Anyone from the public like to comment on this ordinance? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 13, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to public advertise and auction the adjudicated property located at 107 Myrtle DeLone Street, Lockport, Louisiana 70374. Assessment number 00414498836 with a minimum starting bid of $5,624.89 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for administration, second by Mr. Araby. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 13? Second call, public input, ordinance at 13. Last and final call, anyone from the public who wants to comment on ordinance at 13? Anyone from the council like to discuss? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 14, ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6838 that approves Civic Source to public advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 20644 Highway 1, Golden Mill, Louisiana 70357. Assessment number 0102155800 with a minimum starting bid of $13,741.80 due to non-payment of ad valorem property tax and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 14? Second call, public input, ordinance at 14. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 14? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 15, ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6845 that approved a non-warranty cash sale agreement for property adjudicated to Lafourche Parish government located at 20644 Highway 1, Golden Meadow, Louisiana 70357. Assessment number 0102155800 with a minimum starting bid of $13,741.80 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 15? Second call, public input on the ordinance at 15. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 15? Anyone from the council? There be none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 16, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to public advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 20644 Highway 1, Golden Meadow, Louisiana 70357. Assessment number 0102155800 with a minimum starting bid of $11,840.97 and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 16? Second call, public input, ordinance at 16. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 16? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 17, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction the adjudicated property located at 102 Smith Willow Drive, Houma, Louisiana, 70364, assessment number 01-107-19650 with no minimum starting bid. With a minimum starting bid of $6,588.87, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Roderick for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 17? Second call, public input, the ordinance at 17. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 17? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 18, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction the adjudicated property located at 125A West 225th Street, Gothamel, Louisiana, 70357, assessment number 0102158900, with a minimum starting bid of $6,242.43. Authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 18? Second call, public input, ordinance at 18. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on this ordinance? Would anyone from the council like to discuss? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. Absence being Councilman Adams. Item 19, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction the adjudicated property located on Lafourche Bypass Road, Thibodaux, Louisiana, 70301, and assessment number 01-106-55403, with a minimum starting bid of $12,648.52. And authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Melvin for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 19? Second call, public input, ordinance at 19. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on this ordinance? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 20, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction the adjudicated property located on Palmetto Street, Gothamel, Louisiana, 70357. Assessment number 0102091200, with minimum starting bid of $4,720.09. And authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 20? Second call, public input, ordinance at 20. Last and final call, anyone from the public like to comment on this ordinance? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 21, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 632 Danoff Street, Lot 1, Racine, Louisiana, 70394. Assessment number 00311444900, with minimum starting bid of $11,505.57. Now authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 21? Second call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 21? Last and final call, would anyone from the public like to comment on this ordinance? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 22, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 139 Triple Oaks Drive, Racine, Louisiana, 70394. Assessment number 00727034000, with minimum starting bid of $23,493.42. And authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 22? Second call, anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 22? Final call, any public input for the ordinance at 22? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 23, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 1327 St. Marie Drive, Houma, Louisiana 70364, assessment number 01108083000, with a minimum starting bid of $21,718.88, and authorizing the parish president to sign and execute and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Roderick for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 23? Second call, public input, ordinance at number 23. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at 23? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 24, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 2607 North Bayou Drive, Golden Mel, Louisiana 70357. Assessment number 0102066100, with a minimum starting bid of $8,585.61, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Second by Mr. Perk. We do have an amendment to this one. Item A, amendment, correcting the minimum bid amount from $8,585.61 to $14,990.61 throughout the ordinance by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the amendment? That's moving the minimum bid price. Second call, public input on the amendment. Third and final call, anyone from the public wants to come up and comment on the amendment? Anyone from the council? There being none, we will vote on the amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All against say nay. Motion on the amendment passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Mr. Adams. Now we will resort back to the original ordinance as amended. Would anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance as amended? Second call, public input, ordinance number 24 as amended. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance as amended? Anyone from the council wants to comment on this ordinance as amended? So now we will vote on the ordinance as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 25, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 128 Conn Street, Racine, Louisiana 70394, assessment number 00726922200, with a minimum starting bid of $7,974.80, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Mr. Araby for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 25? Second call, public input on the ordinance at 25. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at 25? Anyone from the council? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 26, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 151 West 177th Street, Galliano, Louisiana 70354, for assessment number 01019663000, with a minimum starting bid of $12,637.23, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at 26? Second call, public input, ordinance at 26. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on the ordinance at number 26? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 27, ordinance approving NOLA Title Group LLC and SRI Services Incorporated to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 305 Carroll Street, Thibodeau, Louisiana 70301, assessment number 00102147000, with a minimum starting bid of $4,189.68, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Broomfield for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Anyone from the public like to comment on the ordinance at number 27? Second call, public input, ordinance at 27. Last and final call, anyone from the public wants to comment on this ordinance? Anyone from the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. Absence being Councilman Adams. I'll now entertain a motion to close public hearing. So moved by Mr. Perk, second by Mr. Araby. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent. The absence being Councilman Adams. Brings us to item J, proposed ordinances. Mr. Melvin, you have the floor, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 28, proposed ordinance to install no 18-wheelers signs at entrance of Highway 3235, turning onto West 217th Street on each side, north side and south side, and from the beginning of LA1, entering onto West 217th Street, Golden Meadow, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, requiring placement of no 18-wheelers signs, provided penalties for violations thereof, moved by Mr. Lorraine. Number 29, proposed ordinance requesting a no dumping $500 fine sign to be posted at the end of East 93rd Street, Galliano, Louisiana, Ward 10, District 9, Parish of Lafourche, State of Louisiana, installing the necessary no dumping $500 fine sign and providing penalties for the violations thereof, moved by Mr. Lorraine. Number 30, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6090 that approve Archon Information System, DBA Civic Source to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located Highway 316, Gray 70359, assessment number 811068730, due to non-payment of ad valorem property taxes, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Rodrigue for the administration. Number 31, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6102 that approved a non-warranty cash sale agreement for property adjudicated to Lafourche Parish government located on Highway 316 in Gray, Louisiana, 70359, assessment number 811068730, for a minimum amount of $4,675, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Rodrigue for the administration. Number 32, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6839 that approves Civic Source to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located on Sandra Street, LaRose, Louisiana, 70373, assessment number 004159620, with a minimum starting bid of $12,553.14 due to non-payment of ad valorem property taxes, and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Ms. Chasson for the administration. Number 33, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6844 that approved a non-warranty cash sale agreement for the property adjudicated to Lafourche Parish government located on Sandra Street, LaRose, Louisiana, 70373, assessment number 004159620, with a minimum starting bid of $12,533.14, and authorized the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Ms. Chasson for the administration. Number 34, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6414 that approves Civic Source to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located on Tellis Street, Berg, Louisiana, 70343, assessment number 8041381800, due to non-payment of ad valorem property taxes, and authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Otan for the administration. Number 35, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6439 that approved a non-warranty cash sale agreement for the property adjudicated to Lafourche Parish government located in Tellis Street, Berg, Louisiana, 70343, assessment number 8041381800, for a minimum amount of $4,000, and authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Otan for the administration. Proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6099 that approved Archon Information Systems, DBA Civic Source to publicly advertise and auction the adjudicated property located at 124 East 125th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 810-227-4700, due to non-payment of ad valorem taxes, and authorize the parish president to execute and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Number 37, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6115 that approved a non-warranty cash sale agreement for property adjudicated to Lafourche Parish government located at 124 East 125th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 810-227-4700, for a minimum amount of $4,675, and authorize the parish president to sign, and execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Number 38, proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6091 that approved Archon Information Systems, DBA Civic Source to publicly advertise and auction adjudicated property located at 301 East 116th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 810-228-7700, due to non-payment of ad valorem property taxes, and authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Proposed ordinance rescinding ordinance number 6101 that approved a non-warranty cash sale agreement for the property adjudicated to Lafourche Parish Government located at 301 East 116th Street, Galliano, Louisiana, 70354, assessment number 810-228-7700 for a minimum of amount of $4,675, authorized the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Number 40, proposed ordinance approving a variance of to Energy Louisiana, Chapter 26, Article 4, Section 26-104, pertaining to the noise control prohibitions of Lafourche Parish Code and ordinances, and authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, moved by Mr. Lorraine for the administration. I think that does it.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Melvin. Item K, resolutions. Number 41, agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, ASPCA, for assisting Lafourche Parish Government in the event of an emergency and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Moved by Mr. Brumfield for the administration, second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 42, resolution appointing 3 members to the Keep Lafourche Beautiful Committee representing Lafourche Parish Government. Mr. Perk will move on behalf of the administration. And who do you have, Mr. Perk?
We have 3 vacancies, 3 applications: Megan Dufresne, Chris Babin, and Danielle Stein.
Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. That absence being Councilman Adams. Item 43, resolution appointing 1 member on the Veterans Memorial District Ward 10 of the Parish of Lafourche Board. Mr. Lorraine for the administration. Who do you have, Mr. Lorraine?
Yeah, George, wrong state rep, nominated Alexis Swartz. So I move on Alexis Swartz.
Second by Ms. Chasson. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 44, resolution approving agreement with Casualty Actuarial Consultants Incorporated for 2024 actuarial services and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk will move from behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 45, resolution approving change order number 2 for the project titled Recreation Facility Hurricane Ida Lighting System Repair Replacement Golden Meadow and LaRose Fields, adding 37 additional days to contract time and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Ms. Chesson. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 46, resolution approving change order number 1 for the project titled Hurricane Ida Repairs Courthouse Annex and Old Jail Roof, decreasing the contract price by $24,097 and adding 90 days to the contract time and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said change order and any all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Araby. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 47, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the Town of Lockport for funding from the Parish Transportation Revenue Program for the 2024-2025 fiscal year and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passed, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 48, resolution approving agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and Town of Golden Meadow for funding from the Parish Transportation Revenue Program for the 2024-2025 fiscal year and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine will move on behalf of the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes, 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. The absence being Councilman Adams. Item 49, resolution approving an agreement between Lafourche Parish Government and the City of Thibodeau for funding from the Parish Transportation Revenue Program for the 2024-2025 fiscal year and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said agreement and any and all relevant documents. Mr. Perk for the administration, second by Mr. Lorraine. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, that absence being Councilman Adams. Number 50, resolution approving a proposal from AMH Investments LLC for the procurement of property located at 18594 Louisiana 3235, Galliano, Louisiana 70354. Authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said proposal and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for administration, second by Mr. Perk. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is anyone opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, the absence being Councilman Adams. Item 51, resolution granting a variance pertaining to the issuance of a liquor license for El Viejo Mexican Grill and authorizing the parish president to sign, execute, and administer said application and any all relevant documents. Mr. Lorraine for the administration, second by Mr. Perk. Discussion. So the variance on this was just that the neighbors would have been prohibited, but the neighbors agreed and kind of grandfathered in, so it seemed like it's all a good deal with the neighbors and everyone else. If there's no further discussion, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes with 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence, the absence being Councilman Adams. Item L, motion number 52. I will please entertain a motion to appoint the Daily Comment as the official journal for the Lafourche Parish Council for the period from July 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2025 at the rate of $5.50 per square of 100 words. Someone move. Mr. Perk will sponsor that motion, second by Mr. Rodrigue. Discussion. No discussion, we'll bring it to a vote. You want to discuss? Go ahead, Mr. Perk.
We need to do it. It is what it is, and it's, as much as we don't want to do it, this is bigger than us, bigger than Lafourche Parish, so we just, and each time we prolong it, we're giving the Comet more money, right?
From our taxpayers, that's right.
Right, we haven't advertised it again, so.
Thank you. Much appreciated and well said. With that said, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Raise your hands, nay. So motion will pass with 6 yeas, 2 nays, the nays being Councilman Melvin, Councilman Lorraine, 1 absence, the absence being Councilman Adams. Thank y'all, appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Crowley much appreciates. Item M, Parish President, Department Heads, Directors, our manager reports, presentations, and our updates. Item 53, Finance Representative to present the monthly financial report as required by the state agreed upon procedures for April 2024. And I think we got that.
She's got a PowerPoint tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, okay.
Okay. First report is our 2024 royalty revenue. In the first quarter of 2024, LPG has received $435,401.04. In 2024, the first quarter shows a decrease of $24,916.70, a 5.411 decrease compared to the first quarter of 2023. Okay. 2024 road sales tax district revenue. This is the new tax. In the first quarter of 2024, LPG has received $1,617,031.89. There's no comparison for 2022 or 2023. Okay. 2024 Road Sales Tax District A revenue. In the first quarter of 2024, LPG has received $36,326.89. In 2024, the first quarter shows a decrease of $1,444,008.43, which is 97.546 compared to the first quarter of 2023. Of course, these numbers are going to decline because we are no longer collecting current tax. This is old tax, back tax that we are collecting at this point. Okay. 2024 Road Sales Tax District 2 revenue. In the first quarter of 2024, LPG has received $13,363.62. In 2024, the first quarter shows a decrease of $860,594.66. That's a 98.470 decrease compared to the first quarter in 2023. Again, this is one of the old tax, and this amount reflects past due taxes that we have collected. Solid waste. In the first quarter of 2024, LPG has received $1,053,188.57. In 2024, the first quarter shows a decrease of $1,294,203.97, which is a 55.133% compared to first quarter of 2023. Again, the tax rate has went down, so therefore we're going to be collecting less money. Our garbage fees is going to also, I'll start showing what our garbage collection is on future slides. Next slide, Parish Transportation. In the first quarter of 2024, LPG has received $102,417.80. In 2024, the first quarter shows a decrease of $46,860.04, which is a 31.3991 decrease percentage compared to the first quarter of 2023. General Fund. Our current fund balance for the general fund is $9,633,489.71. This does reflect some FEMA money that we have not yet paid out. So that's why you're seeing a high balance right now in the general fund. Drainage. This is our new drainage fund that includes roads and drainage. We have $1,002,201.83 as our current fund balance. The library's fund balance is $6,176,834.34. Solid waste fund balance is $2,908,282.30. Royalty has a fund balance of $1,784,858.46. The next slide shows Parish Transportation and Royalty. As you can see, there is a decline in comparison to last year for both Parish Transportation and Royalty. And the last slide shows Road Sales Tax A, Road Sales Tax 2. The decline, as I explained on the previous slides, is due to us only collecting past taxes in comparison to the previous years. And solid waste, of course, is a decline due to the lower tax rate. Thank you, and ready to entertain any questions if there are any.
Questions? Certainly someone has. I just want to just to point out, the Parish Transportation Fund it originates from where?
It originates, I'm sorry, from the state.
Correct. So we get that every year. That was a pretty big reduction from the last couple of years, and that has nothing to do with our, re-tax structure or anything like that.
No.
That's just reduced funding from the state itself. And the reason I point out is because I know that includes, we give an allocation to the town of Lockport, town of Golden Meadow. So I would just ask, can someone just state the new road sales tax, and I know that we have funding that has to stay in certain areas, and excludes what parts of our parish?
Just the city limits at Thibodeau.
That's it.
That's it.
Every other place, the other municipalities are included in the new road sales tax.
That's right. Well, I take that back. The town of Lockport is also not included in it, so it's those two municipalities.
Okay, that's what
I'm sorry.
the mayor and I were talking the other day, so I just want to make sure that was clear.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And we did try, if you remember during the reform talks, the issue with Thibodeau and Lockport were that they would have broken the 5% cap, right? So we got a couple options, or the municipalities have a couple options. They either roll something else back and collect the half a penny, or when the 0.45 rolls off the state sales tax, which should happen, I'm assuming next year when the session hits, there's an opportunity to pick that up somehow. So we'll see what happens.
I know that the town of Lockport will be paying close attention to that because they really wanted to get in. This is my understanding. I mean, they had voted to jump on board. Anyway, all right, if no one has any further discussions, we will bring it to item N, questions for the administration. Oh, brings us to item O, discussion. Any other discussion? Mr. President, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just as an FYI, we did get a new set of flood maps from FEMA about a week and a half ago. We had a conference call with Nicole from Aptum, who has been working on the flood insurance rate map since the lawsuit back in 2008, and Dwayne from the levy district. There are still some hickey spots. They did really good from the parish line through most of Raceland. And then when you hit kind of the Lockport area, it gets out of whack again. Some of the areas, the elevations are backwards, so you'll see, the AE7s in the front of the street and the +5s in the back, which don't make sense because the water flows to the back. And then we got around Lockport, you still see those elevations of 9s, and you see the elevations of 8 and 7 out in the middle of the lake. So we're not sure why. They didn't answer a whole lot of our questions. They just sent us a set of maps back. So we have a 30-day comment period that'll take us through the second week of June. So we have another call on Friday morning to kind of work through what everybody's kind of been sending back and forth to send a response back to FEMA. We've highlighted the issues that we have with the maps they just sent back. So hopefully that'll give them, which should be another 60 or 90 days. It'll probably be another 6 months if I had to guess, because this one was supposed to be, we were supposed to have these maps in March, and we're almost, in the end of May, and we just got them back. So we're going to continue to work on them. Up until then, we're still working on the 1985 maps that everybody's been accustomed to and dealing with those issues. Mr. Chairman, you and I have had a lot of discussion about the fire departments and the fire stations, so it's been a struggle. And the last thing I will say is please don't shoot the messenger, especially Councilman Chesson and Councilman Lorraine. We did get an email from DOTD about the Highway 657 bridge today. It looks like what was going to be a week or two delay has now turned into about another 4-week delay. They're waiting on some parts, so now we're talking about the end of June before they open that bridge back up. Not our bridge. I mean, I understand it. My response back to him was, I get it, we got some crappy bridges too, but another month is going to kill people down there. So hopefully they speed it up, the parts coming quicker, but for now they're banking on the end of June instead of next week.
So,
Mr. President? That was it, Mr. President?
That's it, Mr. Chairman. Thank
Ms.
you.
Chesson.
specific parts.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Lorraine.
Specific parts. Didn't these waters get rewind, and then when they came back, the bushings were shot?
Yeah.
Nah, come on.
Wow.
Who in the hell worked on that?
Not us.
Ms. Chesson.
On a good note, the state did cut the grass on 3235.
Always a positive.
Always a positive.
Okay, any other discussion? There being none, brings us to item P, adjournment. On motion by Mr. Perk, second by Ms. Chesson, and with no further business, Lafourche Parish Council regular meeting of May 28, 2024 will be adjourned at 18:04 hours. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passed 8 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absence. Absence being Councilman Adams.